So there's lots to talk about, and I'm really excited. I'm really excited to learn Torah trope with you guys. I'm kind of a Torah trope nerd. It was one of the first things that I learned to chant of all the tefillah and the davening was learning to chant Torah. I love doing it, and yeah, so I'm really excited to share this with you. There's a lot to cover, and I'm going to put up. I've made a presentation for you that I want to share, and so I just want to kind of point out what the goals of this course are and kind of guide you through this and let you know sort of what to expect in the next few weeks as we do this together. So the goals for this course are to identify Torah trope groups. We'll talk more about that, what trope is in just a minute, but by the end of this course, you'll know what trope is and you'll be able to identify Torah trope groups. Particularly when you finish this 6-week course, I want every person in this course, my goal is that every person is completely proficient at chanting, knowing and chanting the top 5 Torah trope groups. Et Nakta, Sof Pasuk, Katon, Revi'i, and Tavir. I'll tell you more about this in a minute. We're going to learn all the tropes, but these top 5 make up 90% of everything in the Torah. So if you know those 5, you know almost everything, and the last bits are just like the gravy, if you will. Here's the other ones: Kadma, Vayazla, Gershaim, Talisha Gedalah, Katana, Pazer, Zakaf Gadol, Zarkal Sekol, and a few very, very, very rare ones in addition to this. So we're going to talk about all of them, but those top 5 are really what's important, and that's my goal, is that everyone knows the top 5. Another goal is that everyone can become familiar with Torah trope resources and ways to look up things if you're having trouble remembering something or you have a question. And so I'm going to share resources with you. And along those lines, also gain tools and tips for learning and practicing Torah readings. I have some tricks that I use that I'm excited to share that just help you when you're doing this process. And finally, and this is really the most important one, I hope, my goal is that you will fall in love with laning, with chanting Torah. It's also called laning, and potentially read Torah at CBI. We are a lay-led congregation, and then we pride ourselves in the number of lay Torah readers that we have. And so I hope to add to that group from this cohort of people, and I'm really, really excited about that. And I'll tell you more about that. I'm adding, and I'm checking off. Hi, Jerry. Hi, Shelby. Just checking off.
Hello.
Just joined us. Amazing. Glad you're here. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit more about these top 5 tropes. So this chart is not scientific. This is based on my own experience. And the reason for that is because no one that I know has actually done, I could not find anyone who's actually listed all of the number of trope occurrences in the Torah. But I can tell you that there are 5,852 Sof Pasuks in the Torah, because Sof Pasuk is the end of the verse. And we know how many verses are in the Torah. There's 5,852. Sof Pasuk, Et Nakta, and Katon, as you can see, make up 70 to 75% of every Torah reading. So once you know those top 3 tropes, you know the majority of your Torah reading, plus Revi'i and Tavir, and now you know 90% of your Torah reading, at least for most cases. There's some special cases where, like the 10 Commandments, that has a lot of fancy stuff. But most Torah readings, if you know those top 5 tropes, you know 90% of the reading. So my goal, like I mentioned just a second ago, when we finish this course, is that everyone knows backwards and forwards those top 5. And then all the others fit into the last like 10%-ish. Again, this isn't scientific, but this is based on my experience. This is kind of a guesstimation of numbers, but and it will vary from reading to reading, but just overall, I think this is about right. Here's our course schedule. So we're going to be here for about 6 weeks. Well, for 6 weeks. And here's what I'm planning for tonight. We're going to do this kind of introduction that we're doing right now. And we're going to get started right away on Et Nakta phrases, and hopefully, if there's time, Sof Pasuk phrases as well. Next week, I plan to review that and add on Katon phrases. The following week, we'll get into Revi'i and Tavir. So hopefully, in the first 3 weeks here, we're going to hit those top 5. If we need to go into the 4th week, we will. On February 15th, we'll keep reviewing and start the miscellaneous phrases. On February 22nd, please note there's no class that week. My family's going to Mammoth, so just be aware that on the 22nd, we'll have no class. And we'll finish up on March 1st and March 8th with finishing up miscellaneous phrases and workshopping Torah readings, which I'm going to tell you more about in a second. Oops, I went backwards. Okay, here's my contact info. I'm going to put this up again at the end of tonight, but in case you need it, that's my phone number and my email address. It's also on all the emails that I send you. You are welcome to call or text or email me if you have any questions along the way. And you're going to see I'm going to give you homework eventually. So those contacts will be even more important. Hi, Erin. I see you're here. I'm marking everyone off. I think I've got everyone. Yeah, amazing. Great to see everybody. Okay, so I want to jump right into this. Here is a picture of our Torah scroll. This is the one we read from the most at CBI. And this was me. I took this yesterday, just staring right down at it. And this is what it looks like when you are at the Torah. I don't know if you've had a chance to, if you've had an Aliyah, hopefully you've seen this, or if you've had any experience reading Torah, you've seen this. This is what it looks like. And I mean, this next picture is zoomed in a little more. So when you're reading Torah, this is what you're looking at. This is hand calligraphied by a sofer. And even though, as you can see, it's beautiful and it's consistent, it's handmade. And so every Torah is unique and special. And so reading from, we prepare everything that we can in advance, and we're going to talk more about that. But when it comes down to it, you're reading from a handwritten document. And this is what it looks like. So I want to kind of put that, I want to begin with the end in mind, if you will. I want you to kind of be thinking about, that's where we're getting to. Eventually, when you're reading Torah, this is what you're looking at. And so all the preparation that you do is to get you to the point where you can look at a Sefer Torah and be able to read or chant really from it. So I just wanted to share that with you. The primary way that you prepare for a Torah reading is by using a tikkun. It's like this. Here's mine right here. Mine's a little beat up because I use it a lot. And a tikkun has all of the Torah and Haftorah in it, with all of the Masoretic trope markings in it to tell us exactly how to pronounce things and what tropes go with what. We're going to talk more about that. Inside a tikkun, it looks like this. So you can see these are two columns, and both columns are the same, but on the right, we have vowels and we have trope markings. On the left, we only have letters and no vowels and no trope markings. Don't worry if you don't know what the trope markings are. We're going to talk more about that, but I just want you to see the difference. So on the left, you only have letters, and on the right, you've got all these markings. The tikkun gives you both because while you're preparing, you want to have all those vowels and trope markings so you know exactly how to pronounce things and how to chant things. So that way, when you are preparing for the Torah, you can memorize everything on the right and then use only the left, sort of simulating what it would be like to read from the Torah. And then eventually you'll move to just the Sefer Torah scroll. So that's what the tikkun looks like. The email I sent out and the attachment I had is this Torah reading that you're looking at right now. So if you printed it out, you'll recognize that. We're going to get into it, so you don't have to worry too much right now. But so that's what's inside of a tikkun. I want to talk a little bit about what is trope. So it goes without saying, but I'm going to say it. Torah is our sacred text. And as such, we want to read it with the utmost respect and the greatest attention to detail. And trope is how we do that. And the tikkun helps us with that so that we know exactly how to read something. And when I say read, this is kind of an important thing to point out. We're not just reading, we're actually chanting. And that is the tradition, to chant the Torah. A male who does this is called a bal koreh. A female is called a balat koreh. Koreh really means to call out. This is like a public reading. So we're not just reading, we're actually publicly reading, publicly chanting, calling out the Torah. And because it's our sacred text, we want to do it right. We want to do it with the utmost respect, greatest attention to detail. Chanting Torah is an ancient skill that dates back more than 2,000 years. It's mentioned in the Talmud and other ancient texts, which is, I think, really exciting. And using Torah trope helps convey the proper meaning of the text. So when we're talking, like even now as I'm talking to you, I am not talking in a monotone robotic voice. I am using inflection in my voice. I'm using, when you try to communicate something, there are pauses and there are questions, and my voice goes up when I question. And so if I'm asking you, how are you today? My voice goes a certain way. Or if I'm telling my kids, put the Legos away, my voice goes another direction. And you can tell by my intonation, by the pauses, kind of what I'm trying to convey to you. And that is what sort of implies the punctuation and the meaning of the text. I want to show you this as an example. I love this. So look at these words here. And there's a couple ways. So there's no punctuation. And there's a couple ways I could say this. So imagine I say, we dislike foolish people. Like you, we find them boring. So the way I just said that, I think you know what I'm conveying here, and you can probably guess where I put the comma and periods in that sentence right now. But I could say it like this. We dislike foolish people like you. We find them boring. Now that has a different meaning and a different punctuation. And so the way that I said it and the where I paused changed the meaning of that sentence. And that is what trope is doing, because in the Torah, there is no punctuation, there are no vowels. And so we have to study what our tradition tells us are the correct ways to chant. So that's what trope is. So I really want to jump right into this. Before I do, are there any questions so far about what we're talking about? Cool. It's great to see everyone here. I'm just checking out. Thanks for joining us, Rabbi Rock and Beth. Great to see you. Okay. All right. We're going to jump right in. So I want to work tonight on the Nakta phrases, and maybe if we can, also we'll get to the Sof Pasuk phrases. So if you remember that chart that I showed you at the beginning, Et Nakta phrases are one of the most common phrases throughout all Torah readings, and they're one of the top 3. So I know you guys saw the emails from me about buying highlighters, and hopefully you have it, maybe a yellow highlighter or for tonight. So here's my trusty highlighters. I have a set at home and a set at work. And so at Nakta, I always highlight in yellow. We're not highlighting yet, but we will be. So get your yellows ready. But first, I want to talk about this at Nakta phrase. So at Nakta is represented by this symbol. You can see it up in the top, that direction, in blue, the little wishbone. See the little wishbone symbol. So when you're chanting Torah, if you look at this phrase right here, it says Mircha tipcha munach et nakta. The last word, et nakta, is the name of this trope. And you can see the little wishbone. Do you see it at the end of et nakta? It's under the ta, the tet, tav, and so it's telling us that this is an et nakta. So an et nakta phrase will always end with the little wishbone. And the elements of the et nakta phrase are these 4 things that you see right here. There's a mircha, tipcha, munach, et nakta. We're going to talk about each of those. So, here in this slide, I'm pointing. See those little symbols? So the mircha has, I'm going to back up so you can see this. Mircha has a little like fingernail going this way. The tipcha has one going this way. The munach is like a box like this. And the et nakta is the wishbone. So you can see those are the trope symbols for the et nakta phrases. And here's what they sound like. So mercha, and I want to, before I do the mercha, I want to mention mercha is really a helper trope. The important trope of et nakta phrases is et nakta. And the second most important is tipcha. Mercha is just a helper to get you to tipcha, and you'll see as we go further in the class and we learn other types of trope phrases, there are other kinds of mercha. Mercha can help katon phrases, it can help tavir phrases, it can help sof pasuk phrases. So the mercha that you're about to learn is the mercha that goes with et nakta phrases. So it's the helper for et nakta. And it sounds like this. Mercha, like lullaby, mercha, lullaby. And if you're always going to read right to left, it's the little curved line coming down like that. So note that to yourself because it's easy. A lot of people will get confused between mercha and tipcha. I'm going to give you a tool in a minute to help you remember it. Mercha is the one when you're reading right to left, mercha goes down. Mercha. All right, it's like lullaby. I'm not going to put anybody on the spot, but if you will use your raise hand button, if you're familiar, it's in the reactions thing here, then I will only call on people with raised hands to do demonstration with me. So if someone's feeling brave and wants to raise hand, I'd love you to repeat after me, Mercha. And while you're deciding whether to raise your hand or not, I encourage everyone, even if you're not raising your hand, just stay on mute, but please do this out loud. Do this out loud and practice, even though we can't hear you. In fact, that's even better because you've got your space to yourself, and so you can keep practicing. So I want everyone to be working this. Okay, Ruth, will you repeat after me? Mercha.
Mercha.
Thank you.
So.
That's okay. That was fine. Mercha. One more time. Great. Joyce, will you do it? Mercha.
Mercha.
Great. Cindy. Mercha.
Mercha.
Great. Jerry.
Mercha.
Thank you. All right, let's keep going. The next one here. I will call on more people. You can keep your hands up if you want to be called on, and I will only call on people with hands up. So thank you guys for volunteering, and the rest of you, please sing along, even though you're on mute. All right, so we just did Mercha, now Tipcha. And remember what I said, Mercha curves down. When you're reading right to left, Mercha curves down, Tipcha curves up. I kind of imagine if a skateboarder is skating right to left as the same direction that we're reading, he goes down the ramp for Mercha and he goes he tips up for Tipcha. He's tipping. That's how I think of it. He's like on his skateboard ramp. He's tipping up Tipcha. That's how I explain it to B'nai Mitzvah students. So it sounds like this. Tipcha. And I want to say something. So trope is really almost like a dialect. And you will notice that there are variations of it. And if you listen to people chanting Torah at CBI, you will hear variations of it. The one that I am teaching you is the most common standard Ashkenazi trope. And this tipcha, I want to mention this, it could go like this, tipcha, or more simple, tipcha. See how I'm kind of adding, if you can read music, you can see I put that A note in parentheses. So you can either sing it with that or without it. You could just sing tipcha, or you could sing tipcha, okay? So I'm going to put that together with mercha. So it's going to go mercha tipcha. Who wants to try that? Ruth, are you up for it?
Mercha tipcha.
Thank you. Joyce, mercha tipcha.
Mercha tipcha.
Good. Jerry, mercha tipcha.
Mercha tipcha.
Great. Carl, mercha tipcha.
Tipcha.
Good. Cindy, mercha tipcha.
Mercha tipcha.
Good. Ellen or Howard, mercha tipcha. I think you're on mute.
Let's unmute him. Okay, go ahead, Howard.
Mercha tipcha.
Thank you. Phyllis.
Tipcha.
Great. Wonderful. And then if you wanted to do it the simpler version because I said there's kind of a variation here, it would sound like this. Mercha tipcha. Mercha tipcha. Either one of those is fine. Mercha tipcha or mercha tipcha. Okay? Either one of those is fine. All right. Moving on. The munach. The little L shape. So it sounds like this. Munach. Munach. Let's just try that. Munach. Let's see. I will call on Cindy.
Munach.
Good. Carl.
Munach.
Good. Jerry.
Munach.
Great. Joyce.
Munach.
Harris, I see you. Oh, you're not muted. You're on Munach. Oh, you can't get the hand? I don't know. All right. Ruth.
Munach.
Great. Ellen or Howard.
Munach.
Good. All right. Great. And finally, the most important one, et nachta. And I really think of this like a trumpet, like dur, 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 dur. Et nachta. Et nachta. Good.
Et nachta.
Great. Great.
Et nachta.
Great. Carl.
Nachta.
Great. Cindy.
Et nachta.
Jerry.
Eknata.
Joyce.
Et nachta.
Ruth.
Et nachta.
Phyllis.
Et nachta.
Did I call in everyone who wants to be called on? Harris, you don't want to be called on? Okay. All right. So here's what I want to do. So I want to look. So here's the entire et nachta phrase that we just learned. This is a full et nachta phrase. Here's how it goes. Mercha tipcha munach et nachta. All right. Thank you, Howard. That was great. Cindy.
Mercha tipcha munach et nachta.
Beautiful. Carl.
You run it by me again?
Mercha tipcha munach et nachta.
Mercha tipcha munach et nachta.
Good. Munach et nachta.
Munach et nachta.
That's it. Who else would like to go?
I'll go.
Thank you.
Mercha tipcha munach et nachta.
Great.
Almost.
Munach et nachta. Great. Ruth, would you like to try?
Merchati Pramunach et Nata.
Great. Phyllis, would you like to try?
Merchati Pramunach et Nata.
Good. Munach et nachta.
Muna et Naha et
Great.
Nata.
Great. Great. Aaron, would you like to try?
Sure. Sorry if there's background noise.
That's okay.
Merchati Pramuna et Nata.
Great. Karen, would you like to try?
Merchati Pramuna et Nachta.
Great. And look at this next screen. So all of these, line 1, 2, 3, 4, all of these are et nachta phrases. They're just variations. So when you're reading a Torah reading, when you're learning a Torah reading, and you find an et nachta phrase, it could be in any of these formats. Line number 1 is the one we just learned. That is a full et nachta phrase. It has all 4 of the elements. But line 2 is another possibility. It could just be tipcha munach et nachta. Or line 3, mercha tipcha et nachta. Or line 4, tipcha et nachta. So those are all the variations. Those are all et nachta phrases. Would anyone like to give a try to do all 4 of these lines?
Let me try.
Great, go for it, Carl.
So, Mercha tipcha munach et nachta. Tipcha munach et nachta. Mercha tipcha et nachta. Tipcha et nachta.
Beautiful, beautiful. And even if you're on mute, please sing along. And that was awesome, Carl. Who else would like to try all 4 lines? Ruth, I see you.
Merchati Pramunach et Nata. Pramunach et Nata. Merchati pra et Nata. Pra et Nata.
Great, beautiful. Jerry, I saw your hand.
Mircha tipcha munach et nata. Tipcha munach et nata. Mircha tipcha et nata. Tipcha et nata.
Beautiful, beautiful. So is everyone hearing this? Is it getting in your head? This is really we're repeating this a bunch of times because it's really my goal to burn this in your brain. If you walk away this week and you're just singing Mercha tipcha munach et nachta all week long, that's the goal. Nice, Howard. Okay, here's what I want to do. I want to move to our Torah reading, and this is where you can get out. Hopefully you have a hard copy of this reading that I emailed out to you and your trusty yellow highlighter. So when you're looking at the Torah reading, you know we read right to left, so we're going to start in the upper right corner. Vayomer Adonai el Moshe lemor. I'm glad your highlighter is being delivered tomorrow, Jerry. And so as you look through each line, reading right to left, you look for the first et nachta you can find, the first wishbone. And once you find that word, then you want to look behind it at the word prior and maybe 2 or 3 words prior to see if there are munachs or mercha tipcha munach, okay? So you can see what kind of phrase it is. For this first phrase, I'm going to do it for you. So here it is. There's the first phrase right there. Ach et shabbatotai tishmoru. So use your yellow highlighter and highlight that on your sheet. Ach et shabbatotai tishmoru. And you can see what variation we're working on here. We've got Mercha tipcha et nachta. So it would be Mercha tipcha et nachta, like that. And now is the right. So that's you're actually doing a sof pasuk there. So wait. So now we're going to put those sounds to the trope. Sorry, to the Hebrew words. So we have Mercha tipcha et nachta, and the words are Ach et shabbatotai tishmoru. And I want to point a couple things out. So something that the tikkun does to help us understand how to pronounce things, they always put the trope marking on the syllable that should be emphasized. Now, you probably know, if you have some experience with Hebrew, that generally the last syllable of every word is emphasized. That's the default, but it's not always the case. And the trope marking will tell us which syllable is being emphasized. So, ach is only one syllable, so that one's easy. Et shabbatotai is a standard word. Tai is the emphasis. You can see the tipcha on the last syllable there. But the et nachta is underneath the mem. It's on the syllable for mo, tishmoru. And so it's telling us we're gonna emphasize tishmoru. This is a common mistake you will hear if you're listening to people chanting Torah. They will often overlook which syllable to emphasize, and they will just emphasize final syllables. It happens a lot with Torah readings. So pay attention to that when you're studying your Torah reading. So one other thing I want to point out, which is something that this tikkun really helps with. Look at the second, the tipcha, et shabbatotai. Underneath the bet for shabbatotai, we have a shiva. If you're familiar with that, it's the two dots, looks like a colon underneath the bet. And you see how they're very bolded? They're very dark compared to some of the other shivas. So like on the final word, tishmoru, under the shin, those two dots are not bolded. The reason for this is on shabbatotai, that's a shivana. So it's telling us that the shiva gets a little bit of a pronunciation. It's not shabtotai, it's shabbatotai. Shabbatotai, like that. It's telling us that. So, ach et shabbatotai tishmoru. That's how it should sound. Who would like to give this a try? I see everyone with hands up, so I'm going to start calling on people with hands up. But even if your hand is not up, please chant along. Cindy.
Ach et shabbatotai tishmoru.
Perfect. Carl.
Ach et shabbatotai. Ach et shabbatotai tishmoru.
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 Perfect. One more time, Carl. Ach et shabbatotai tishmoru.
Ach et shabbatotai tishmoru.
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 Great. Howard or Ellen?
You do it, honey.
Et shabbatotai tishmoru.
Great. Joyce, you want to try?
But you need to do it.
Sure.
Huh?
Ach el shabbat. I'm sorry, I got distracted. Ach el shabbatotai tishmoru.
Perfect. Jerry, you want to give it a try?
Sure. Ach et tabishto, right?
Shabbatotai.
Shabbatotai. Ach et shabbatotai tishmoru.
Beautiful. Harris, I see your hand is up and your mic is off. Do you want to give it a try?
Okay. Ach et shabbatotai tishmoru.
Good. Let's see if we can get some of the tipcha in there. Ach et shabbatotai tishmoru.
Ach et shabbatotai tishmoru.
Great. Ruth, would you like to try it?
Et
Ach.
ach et shabbatotai tishmoru.
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 Right, but the more gets the emphasis. So on the trumpet, dur, 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 when you go up, that's the emphasis. Dur, 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 tishmoru.
Okay. Tishmoru.
Tishmoru. There it is. That's it.
Right.
Is there anyone else I didn't call? Phyllis, would you like to try?
Ach et shabbatotai tishmoru.
That's it. Great. All right, let's find the next et nachta phrase in this Torah reading. I'll wait for someone to tell me what word do you see the wishbone. If you keep reading, right to left. Where's the next word where you see a wishbone? And go ahead and highlight that word with yellow and then look for the words behind it. Note, sometimes the phrase can spill over from one line to the next line. So once you know what word has the wishbone, has the etnakta, go ahead and just say it, call it out.
Lachem.
Lachem. That's right. That's right. And then if you look behind it, what words do you see that could be in the phrase?
Kodesh, what is it? Can't read it, sorry. On the line above, Kodesh,
Kodesh lachem.
Yes, right. So here we go. I'm going to highlight it for you. Kodesh he lachem.
Oh, no, not the key.
There it is. All right. So this one is the same kind of variation that we just had in the prior phase. Kodesh he lachem.
Kodesh he lachem.
Great. Aaron, would you like to try?
Kodesh Hev Lachem.
Great. Harris, do you want to try?
Okay. Kodesh he lachem.
Great. Cindy.
Kodesh he lachem.
Great. Carl.
Kodesh he lachem.
Joyce.
Kodesh he lachem.
Great. Karen.
Kodesh lachem.
Great. Ruth.
Kodesh lachem.
Great. All right, let's find the next one. When you find the next etnakta, go ahead and highlight it and shout out the word.
Looking for Ashman.
Ladonai.
Yep.
Ladonai, that is it. And then let's look behind it. What other words could be in the phrase?
Here.
Shabbaton Kadosh.
Shabbaton Kodesh Ladonai.
So this one's a little tricky. So Shabbaton is actually a different trope. I can see why it's confusing. I can see why it's confusing. Yeah, it's got a dot.
This one. Yeah.
So it's actually a tavir.
Kodesh Ladonai.
Right.
I don't.
I'm going to mute you for just a second, but you can still unmute in just a second. So it's tricky, and it's great that this happened. So Shabbaton is a different trope. It's actually a tavir, which we haven't learned yet, but this is a great thing to notice. So it does kind of look like a mercha, but it's actually got a dot in it. So it's like a little eyeball. So just note that so that you don't get confused. So this phrase is actually just two elements. It's Kodesh, Ladonai, Tipcha, et Nakta. It sounds like Kodesh, Ladonai. And once again, the trope is telling us where the emphasis goes. It goes on ko, not on desh. So Kodesh, Ladonai. I'm going to call on some people to try this one. Howard.
All right. Kodesh Ladonai.
Good. Ellen, you want to try it too?
Kodesh Ladonai.
Great. Phyllis.
Kodesh Ladonai.
Great. Joyce.
Kodesh Ladonai.
Beautiful. Cindy? Oh, you're muted.
Kodesh Ladonai.
Great. Ruth, will you go? And then Carl next.
Kodesh Ladonai.
Great. Carl?
Kodesh Ladonai.
Beautiful. Jerry?
Kodesh Ladonai.
Great. Harris?
Kodesh Ladonai.
Great. Wonderful. All right. Next phrase. Oh, I already gave it away. Sorry. Sorry, I gave it away. There it is on the next line. So here we have another mercha, tipcha, et nakta. In fact, so far we haven't had any munachs. In fact, I kind of have a feeling that none of the et naktas in this reading have a munach, but that's okay. You guys are going to recognize these words, I think.
Shabbat. Oh,
Right.
wow.
Does someone want to try this without me doing it first? Does someone want to give a crack? Oh,
I'm gonna
sorry.
give it a shot.
Sure.
Okay. I think I heard Phyllis first and then Howard.
Vishamru. Wait. Vishamru. B'nai Yisrael. Oh, I got it all confused. Sorry.
Okay, you got the words right. So it's mercha tipcha. So first word will be mercha.
Vishamru. B'nai. No. Go on. Somebody
Okay.
else.
All right. That was a good try. Thank you for being brave. Howard, do you want to do it?
Try it. Shamru b'nei Yisrael et Hashabbat. Yeah, you did it right. That was right.
Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et Hashabbat.
Great. Veshameru v'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat.
Okay.
Veshameru v'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat. So notice again on that first word, Veshameru, under the mem, there's a shavana, one of those really bolded shavas. So the mem gets a little bit of a sound. It's not just Veshamru, it's Veshameru. Veshameru. And then same thing on V'nei Yisrael, on the V at the beginning. V'nei, not just, I mean, you have to give that a sound, I think. V'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat. Who else would like to try this? Carl.
Vishameru v'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat.
Great. Ruth.
V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat.
Great. Aaron.
Vishameru v'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat.
Hi, Oliver. I'm glad that Oliver's with you. I think he's going to be a Torah reader one day. Who else? Cindy.
Vishameru v'nei Yisrael et Hashabbat.
Great. Jerry.
Vishameru v'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat.
Wonderful. Does there someone I missed? Oh, Joyce, would you like to try?
Vishameru v'nei Yisrael et Hashabbat.
Great. Harris, did you want to try?
Shamaru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat.
Good. Try to get that tipcha v'nei Yisrael.
V'shamaru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat.
Right. Okay. V'shameru v'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat. All right. There's one more, and I'm not going to highlight it this time. Who can tell me where the last eknakta is? Tell me the word. Just go ahead and shout it out.
Le'olam.
Yes. All right. And back up a word or two or three and tell me what other words could be part of this phrase.
Oti le'olam.
Le'olam.
That's right. Oti, le'olam. There it is right there. And it's amircha, tipcha, et nakta. And ot and he are both single syllables, so these are really simple. Oti, le'olam. Oti, le'olam.
Oti le'olam.
Great. Phyllis, Harris, you want to try?
Oti le'olam.
Great. Howard?
Oti le'olam.
Ellen, would you like to try?
Oti le'olam.
Good. Ruth and then Aaron?
Oti le'olam.
Great. Aaron?
Oti le'olam.
Great. Joyce and then Carl?
Oti le'olam.
Wonderful. Cindy, did you already go? Go ahead.
Oti le'olam.
Great. And Jerry?
Otehi le'olam.
Great. Amazing. So we have now covered all of the etnakta phrases in the Torah reading. And I know that this is kind of repetitive, but this is really important, and here's why. And we do the same thing when we teach B'nai Mitzvah students. We're doing this by groups, by etnakta groups, and we're repeating it over and over and emphasizing it because we really want you to understand, I want you to understand what an etnakta is. So in theory, you could go to a different Torah reading now and pick out what the etnakta is and apply the same principles. So these are the etnaktas. So great job, everyone. We still have some time, so I want to get to Sof Pasuk. So the reason I'm putting Sof Pasuk along with the etnaktas tonight is they're very similar. So here are variations of the Sof Pasuk phrase. Sof Pasuk means end of the verse. And so it's always the end of the verse. It's, as you know, there's no punctuation in the Torah, so this is how we tell someone that this is the end of the sentence. And all of the elements except for the last one are the same in the Sof Pasuk phrase as they are in the etnakta. So look at line 5. I'm going to chant this. Mercha tipcha, mercha sof pasuk. So look, the mercha is the same, and it's used twice this time. Mercha tipcha, Mercha sof pasuk. Again, mercha is a helper. It's helping you get to a place. Mercha tipcha, exactly the same as that nakta. And then the ending, mercha sof pasuk. And I personally, and a lot of people who chant often, I like to emphasize, guys, you need to be quiet. Ari, please help. I like to emphasize the sof pasuk, and I will emphasize the word and even draw it out a little bit. Sof pasuk, like that. So it's like I'm letting people know I'm at the end of the verse, like that, okay? Mercha tipcha, mercha sof pasuk. That's line 5. Here are the variations. Line 6, 7, and 8. Line 6. Tipcha, mercha sof pasuk. Line 7. Mercha tipcha, sof pasuk. And line 8. Tipcha, sof pasuk. Like that. I want to mention something. So of all of the tropes, sof pasuk is really the most important one. And you may know this when you are laning, when you're up at the Amud, at the Torah, chanting Torah, reading Torah, the Gabbai will not correct your trope. If you mess up on a trope, the Gabbai will not correct you. They will only correct you on pronunciation, with one exception: sof pasuk. That's the rule, the halacha about this is that you have to get the end of the verse, the sof pasuk, correct. If you butcher everything else, no one cares, but you must get the sof pasuk correct, because we're letting people know the end of the sentence. Think back to that thing we read at the beginning of the class. We dislike people. What was it? We dislike annoying people like you. Now I forget it, but you know what I'm talking about when we were talking about the phrasing there. I forget what the sentence was. But the meaning of that sentence changes drastically based on where the period is placed. And the only way you know that is how I speak it. You don't see a period. You're just hearing me say it. Same thing with the sof pasuk. So it, of all the tropes, is the most important. So always in your Torah preparations, make sure to be really diligent about where sof pasukim are and also where they are not, and try to get that correct even if you mess up other stuff. I'm going to chant these 4 lines one more time, and then I'll give some chances for people to try this. So line 5. Mercha tipcha, mercha sof pasuk. Line 6. Tipcha, mercha sof pasuk. Line 7. Mercha tipcha, sof pasuk. And line 8, tipcha, sof pasuk. So those are all the variations of the same thing. I see some hands raised, so I'm going to call on Ruth.
All of them?
Sure.
Mercha tipcha, mercha sof pasuk.
Right. So you just did I want to point this out. You just did something different on the sof pasuk, and it's okay. So there are different, like I said, trope is a dialect, and there are variations of it, and you will hear the sof pasuk that you just did, you will hear that. It is common mostly in Reform, but it's not, there's no denomination to trope. It doesn't mean it's a Reform trope. It just, you will hear it more. It's more common there because they tend to use more German tropes. And you will hear people at CBI do it as well. So that's perfectly fine if that's the sof pasuk you use. I'm teaching you the one we use most commonly, which is sof pasuk. But if you go with the other one, that is fine. The main thing is that you stay consistent in your reading, and you make sure to use that in the proper places. Carl, you want to give it a try?
Mercha tipcha, mercha sof pasuk.
Good.
Tipcha, mercha sof pasuk.
Good.
Tipcha, sof pasuk, sof pasuk. Tipcha, sof pasuk.
Good. I'm going to call on one more person to do this page, and then we're going to move on to the Torah reading. Cindy.
Mercha tipcha, mercha sof pasuk. Tipcha, mercha sof pasuk. Mercha tipcha, sof pasuk. Tipcha, sof pasuk.
Great, great. So hopefully you guys are hearing that over and over and getting the hang of it. So here we are back at our Torah reading, and here's all the eknaktaz that we've already done. And now we're going to do the sof pasukim, which is plural, sof pasuks. All right, I'm going to highlight the first one for you which happens to be the entire first verse of this Torah reading. And this one is a full phrase. It's got all 4 elements. It sounds like this. Vayomer Adonai el Moshe lemor, which is a common starting place for a lot of Torah readings and a lot of paragraphs of the Torah. You recognize it. Let's note a couple things here. Look where that first mercha is placed. It's under the yo, Vayomer Adonai, not Vayomer, Vayomer. Vayomer Adonai el Moshe lemor, like that. Who would like to give a try? Joyce.
Vayomer Adonai el Moshe lemor.
Great. Aaron.
Vayomer Adonai Moshe lemor.
Beautiful. Phyllis.
Vayomer Adonai el Moshe lemor.
Great. Harris.
Vayomer Adonai el Moshe lemor.
Great. Wonderful. Okay, let's find the next sof pasuk, and I will continue calling on others. So look for the 2 dots, to let you know where the end of the sentence is. And then once you find that word, you can shout it out, and then look for the words prior to it. Again, it can bleed from one line to the next. And let me know when you found it. You can go just call it out.
Mekadeshechem.
Yes. Mikadishchem. Yes.
Oh, Mekadishchem.
Mikadishchem. Yes. And then what words behind it look like they could be part of the phrase?
Ani Adonai.
Adonai.
Ani
That's right.
Adonai. Mekadishem. Mekadishchem.
Mikadishchem.
Mekadishchem.
Good. Ani Adonai Mekadishchem. Cindy.
Ani Adonai Mekadishchem.
Good. Ruth.
Ani Adonai Mekadishchem.
Great. Carl.
Ani Adonai Mekadishchem.
Great. Harris.
Ani Adonai Mikadeshem.
Great. Wonderful. Let's find the next one. Call it out when you see it.
Ameha.
Yeah. Ameha. And what words behind it could belong? Anyone can just call that one out.
Hanesh.
Does it start
Yes.
with Habi?
Hanefesh hahi. Right.
Hanefesh hahi. Mekerem ameha.
So you just did it. So you started out correctly. Yeah, you started out correctly. Yes. And you caught yourself. You caught yourself. That's great. So here we are. Hanefesh hahi mikerev ameha. And note here, so on that final word, ameha, there's a little line under the mem that's called a meteg. It's telling us that the emphasis is on ameha. It's not ameha, ameha. And also notice that the final syllable is a hey, not a chet. So ameha, because a lot of people will tend to overdo and put a chet where it's not. I do it too. So just notice this is a hey. Ameha, hanefesh hahi, mikerev ameha. Who would like to try this? Let's go with Jerry.
Let's see. Hanefesh hahi mikerev ameha.
Ameha, great. Joyce.
Hanefesh hahi mikerev ameha.
Great. Carl.
Hanefesh hahi mikerev ameha.
Great. And I hope all of you who are not raising your hand are just chanting along with. So keep practicing this. I know it's over and over, but this is how you learn it. Are you hearing the difference between the sof pasuk and the et nakta? Because they're similar. So the beginning is very similar, but the et nakta is a trumpet, dur, 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 and the sof pasuk is an ending, sof pasuk, like that. Who wants to try it again? Hanefesh hahi mikerev ameha. Ruth.
Hanefesh hahi v'kerev ameha.
Good. That second to last word, mikerev. Mikerev ameha.
Mikerev Mikerev Amecha.
Great, great. All right, let's find the next one. Call it out.
Yumat.
That's it. Yumat. And what?
B'yom HaShabbat. Yumat.
You got it. You got it, Phyllis. Nice job. V'yom HaShabbat. Mot Yumat. Aaron, you want to try that one? And I think this goes without saying. I didn't say it, but we are using orange highlighter for this. Orange.
Beyom HaShabbat. Mot Yomat.
Good. Yumat. Mot Yumat. Yeah. Good. Cindy.
B'yom HaShabbat, Mod Yumat.
Great. Ruth.
Bayom HaShabbat Moed Yomat.
Mot Yumat.
Mot Yomat. Mot Yumat.
Good. Harris.
Yom HaShabbat, Mod Yuma.
Great. Yumat. I want to hear that tav. Yeah.
Yuma.
Yeah. Bayom HaShabbat. Mot Yumat. Good. All right. Joyce.
Bayom HaShabbat, Mot Yamat.
Good. And I want to make sure everyone that on Bayom, it's this is a hard one. So you see it's a Shavana. So we're just giving it a ba. There's no ba there. So it's just Bayom. It's a hard one. It's easy to say Bayom. So Bayom HaShabbat, Mot Yumat.
Yom HaShabbat. Mot Yumat.
Great. Joyce, one more time.
Okay. Bayom HaShabbat, Mot Yamat.
Great. Let's find the next one.
It's Olam.
Yes, that's it. It's Olam. And what else can be in there?
Dora Toberet.
Burrito Lam.
Yes, Ladorotam Barito Olam. Are you recognizing these words?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Burrito Lam. I knew your
Right.
name.
Right. Lidorotam Berit Olam.
Burrito Lam.
Good. All right. Let's call on, I'm just calling on people with hands up. So if you want to try this, please raise your hand. I'll call on Harris.
Adoratam Berit Olam.
Great. Karen.
Ladorotam Burrito Lam.
Great. Aaron.
Ledoratam Berito Lam.
Great. Jerry.
Edorotam beritolam.
Great. Joyce.
Ladorotam Berit Olam.
Great. And Cindy.
Dorotam Berit Olam.
Great. Carl.
Lidoratam, Barito Lam.
Ruth.
Ladorotam Barit Olam.
Yep, that works. That's the variation and that works. Okay, so we've got about 5 minutes left. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight the last sof pasuk here, but I want you to note something. So I put a box around this one. This is a sof pasuk, but it's the final sof pasuk of this reading. So it's a sof aliyah. It's the ending of the aliyah. So it has its own special melody. I think I'm going to save it for next week since we're at the end here. I'll do it for you now so you can hear it, but we'll work more on it next week. It sounds like this. Mercha tipcha, mercha sof pasuk. And again, don't worry about it for right now. I want you to focus on what we worked on tonight. I think it sounds like Star Wars. Da 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 da, doesn't it? Da 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 da. Mercha tipcha, mercha sof pasuk. We'll work on it more next week. So this one would finish with Shabbat vayinafash. So vayinafash. You know what? I already did it. Well, I'll give you a chance since we just did it. If you'd like to try it, I'll call on you. Do you like that, Rabbi Rock? It does. It's like stars. Da 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 da. All right, Ruth.
Oh, Shabbat vayinafash.
Good. Shabbat Shabbat vayinafesh.
So she said close encounters.
Carl.
Shabbat vayinafash.
Great. Cindy.
Shabbat vayinafash.
All right. Joyce.
Shabbat vayinafash.
Good. Aaron.
Shabbat vayinafash.
Great. Ezra. Sorry, Jerry. Is that your Hebrew name, Jerry?
Yes, it is.
Oh,
Ezra Yeron.
nice.
Shabbat vayinafash.
Oh, great. Sorry, I didn't mean to say that. Okay. Harris.
Shabbat vayinafash.
Great. Phyllis.
Shabbat vayinafash.
Great. Howard. I'm not hearing Howard.
Oh, he's unmuted.
Okay, Howard. I don't know. We didn't hear you very well. Ellen, do you want to try?
Shabbat vayinafash.
Great. So here's what I want to do. We're at the end of the class. So I'm giving you homework. So let me put this in the chat here. In Dropbox, here, I'll show you first. Well, actually, I'll show you in a minute because I don't want to leave this screen. Okay. Copy this link that I'm sending to everyone in the chat right now. I will also email this to you, but you can copy it now. In Dropbox, when you go there, you will find the reading, which I already emailed out to you, as well as the trope slides for Et Nakta and Sof Pasuk that we looked at tonight, and recordings of me doing Et Nakta and Sof Pasuk as a reminder of how they sound. All of those are in Dropbox. And you will see a file that says 2023 students. Click on there and you will find a folder with your name on it. And every person, so here's your homework for this week. To practice the Et Nakta and Sof Pasuk phrases that we learned this week. All the ones that we highlighted on our Torah reading in yellow and in orange, practice those because we're going to review them next week. Be ready to share next week. I'm writing this on purpose. Go slow, don't skip ahead. Even if you have some experience working with Torah trope in the past, or maybe you've even chanted Torah before, go slow. Just make yourself only focus on Et Nakta and Sof Pasuk. Become an expert on Et Nakta and Sof Pasuk and what's the difference of them and all the elements. Mircha, Tipcha, Munach, Et Nakta. Mircha, Tipcha, Munach, Et Nakta. Practice those over and over. Look at the stuff in Dropbox. I will also email it to you. And secondly, second bullet point, find your personal Torah reading assignment in Dropbox. I've given everyone a special folder with their name on it. And in your folder is a Torah reading special for you. That it's one that's coming up. Most of them are in April of this year. And they are real Torah reading assignments.
You're going to do it.
My goal is that that you will actually do them at CBI or elsewhere. So find your personal Torah reading and use all the things you learned tonight to highlight the Et Naktas in yellow and all of the Sof Pasukim in orange in your personal Torah reading. So this will be a test of what you learned because we did one together tonight. Now you can go to your Torah reading and do it on yours. All of the Torah readings are relatively short. They're between, I think, 3 and 6 verses, more or less. Maybe a couple of you have 7 verses. But and so depending on that, you will have anywhere from 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, however many Et Naktas and Sof Pasuks. So find them, highlight them. And finally, this is the super duper challenge. If you're up for it, number 3, record yourself chanting. I like to use my phone. I go to voice memo. If you've got an iPhone, I'm sure that other kinds of phones have something similar. I like to do a voice memo of myself, and I will practice. And so practice yourself chanting the Et Naktas and Sof Pasuks. Do the one for your personal Torah reading. If you want, you can do the one for the group reading as well. Practice that. At a minimum, do that for yourself and listen to yourself doing it back. What I would really love is if you'd send it to me. You don't have to, but I'm offering that, and I'd really love it if you would do it. You can text it to me at my mobile number, or you can email it to me at acats@cbi18.org, and I will do my best as quickly as possible to listen to it and give you feedback. Perfect, sounds good, or you should work on this, whatever. There's a lot of people in this class, so I don't want to take all the class time reviewing everyone's personal Torah readings, but if you will make those recordings and send them to me, I will give you feedback and work on that. This is for next week. So that's the assignment. And if you
Yeah,
have any
question.
questions, oh yeah, Paul.
Can you go back just a few screens to
Sure.
the Nakta page that has all the four
The 4 at Naktaz. Yes, I can do that. And you will also find, when you go to the Dropbox, you will find this exact screen as a PDF in the coming here, there, this screen right here. You will find this screen as a PDF in Dropbox, and you will also find the Sof Pasuk screen like this as a PDF, and you'll find a recording of me doing both. So the Et Nachta is Mercha tipcha munach et nachta, tipcha munach et nachta, Mercha tipcha et nachta. I'm going to go ahead and dismiss you if you want to go. We are officially done, but anyone who wants to stay on, I'm going to keep answering questions if you have questions. So you're welcome to leave, but I'll stay on for a few minutes. I have a minyan in about 10 minutes. Line 4, tipcha et nachta. Remember with et nachta, it's the trumpet. Dur, 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 dur. Any other questions about this or anything else?
How do you find the Dropbox? You email it to us?
Yes, I can email it. It's the link I just posted in the chat, and I will also email the same link to you.
Okay.
It's this link right here. If you click on it, here, I'll show you what it looks like because I can share my screen. So here we go. This is what it looks like when you go there. Is everyone seeing that? So you'll click on it. You'll see Kitisa T17 Aliyah. That's the reading we've been working on. That's the one I emailed out to everyone. Torah tropes. If you go inside here, you will see the Et Nachta screen Sof Pasuk screen that I just mentioned, as well as recordings of me doing the Et Nachta and Sof Pasuk phrases like we did. And then if I'm going back here, if you click on 2023 students, there you all are. You each have a folder. And in your folder, we'll click on Aaron Heller. So this is Aaron's personal Torah reading. It's coming up here. Are you seeing that?
Yeah.
April 8th. You know, maybe I have to reshare because it's a different. Let me see.
It's April.
No, we can see it.
Pesach,
Okay, yeah, you're seeing that. Okay, you're seeing that April 8th, Pesach.
There, it just came up.
Yeah, April 8th. So no one will be coerced, but well, they might be coerced, but no one will be forced to take their Torah reading. But I'm assigning April 8th, Pesach Shabbat Chol HaMoed, this is Shabbat, first Aliyah to Aaron Heller. And here it is right there. So Aaron's job is to take a look at this and to find all the Et Nachtaz and Sof Pasuks this week. Each of you have a separate reading. So you all have your own separate homework. There's no cheating because no one has the same one. Howard, do you have a question? Oh, you're on mute.
You're on mute, Howard.
There we go. We're going to be gone between roughly the second week in April and probably the middle of June.
Oh, okay.
We're thinking of assigning these.
Okay, so you may not be able to do yours, and that's okay.
If you give us Bahal, Lothachal, we'll do it.
Okay, so maybe I'll change yours, but in any case, they're still good for practicing and applying the skills. But since you told me that, Howard, I'll try to pick something else for you and Howard, for you and Ellen later in the year. But
can we split one, or does it have to be one person at a time doing one?
I'd like you to do your own, but you can help each other.
I'm fine with that. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. Who else? Any other questions? Ruth? No.
I was just going to say, I don't know when my portion is, but I'm gone the Saturday, the 15th of April.
Okay.
I don't know if that's the one I have.
So check in Dropbox and see. I don't know off the top of my head.
Right.
And if it is that, then we'll change you. Actually, I think it looks like you've got something on the 22nd of April. So look, I'm giving these out with hope that you might do them, but you're not forced to. And if you decide not to, you don't have to. But I think it's nice to have a concrete goal to work towards. So that's what I'm giving these for. And maybe some of you will do it. And I think that'd be wonderful.
Good.
Mine is on the 22nd of April.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Great. So yeah, any questions you have, email me. I will send a follow-up email to the whole class with that assignment that I just shared with you and that link to the Dropbox so you can find it. So thanks, everybody. Looking forward to it.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Amy.
You're welcome. Good night.
Bye.
Good night.